Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. This time we're tackling a career that's, well, all about making a real difference in the lives of animals. We're talking rescue center manager.
And we've got some incredible insights to share thanks to RoleCatcher.
Yeah, they're like the go-to experts when it comes to navigating the job market. And, they've really gone above and beyond providing us with this amazing material for our deep dive today.
They really do go deeper than just, listing out job titles. RoleCatcher breaks down what it actually takes to not just get the job, but succeed in a role.
Exactly. And today we're going behind the scenes to see what it really means to be a rescue center manager.
Right. Because let's face it, we all love those, heartwarming rescue stories.
Who doesn't? You
Yeah.
see those videos online or on the news, and it's like instant happy tears.
But there's a whole lot more to it.
Yeah. Have you ever stopped to think about what it actually takes to run one of those places? What goes on behind the scenes to make those happy endings happen?
It's a lot more than just, cuddles and playtime.
Right. I mean, you're dealing with, what, a whole bunch of animals, probably different species, different needs, and...
And personalities. Don't forget those.
Oh, for sure. Some are going to be superfood motivated. Some might be scared. Some might be, the life of the party.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher actually makes a really interesting comparison. They compare being a rescue center manager to being a head chef.
Oh, wow. Really? Okay, I'm intrigued.
Right. At first you might think, what do those two things even have in common? But when you really break it down, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, okay, break it down for me.
So think about it. As a rescue center manager, you're not just caring for animals, but you're also managing a team. You've got budgets to handle. You're coming up with strategies and plans. And then, of course, you've got those unexpected crises that pop up, just like a chef handling, a sudden dinner rush or dealing with like a kitchen fire.
Oh, wow. When you put it like that, it's like, yeah, you need to be able to handle the pressure, think on your feet, make quick decisions.
Exactly. And through all of that, you can't forget about the compassion, the empathy for the animals in your care.
So you need that balance of, like you said, compassion, but also serious organizational skills. And definitely a cool head under pressure.
100%. And you know what else RoleCatcher really emphasizes? Leadership.
Okay, that makes sense. It's not a one-person show.
Right. You're not just managing animals, you're managing people too. You got your staff, you've got volunteers.
You've maybe even got, like, government agencies to work with, depending on the situation.
Definitely. And don't forget about the public. They play a huge role too. So yeah, it's a lot to juggle. And to do all of that well, you need someone who can not only stay calm under pressure, but who can make those tough decisions and who can be there to support their team.
Especially when they're dealing with, those really heartbreaking situations that can come up in this field.
Exactly. Compassion fatigue is a real thing, and it's something we're going to talk about more a bit later on. It can be a lot for sure. But at the end of the day, you're making a real difference in the lives of animals. And for a lot of people, that makes it all worthwhile.
Absolutely. So let's say someone's listening to us right now and they're thinking, this is it. This is the career for me. I want to be a rescue center manager. What would their path look like? Where do they even begin?
Well, that's where RoleCatcher really shines, because they've actually mapped out a typical career trajectory for this role, which is super helpful for anyone just starting out.
Yeah, they had a whole career ladder laid out, right? I was super curious about that.
They did. And it's really cool, actually, because it shows you how you can progress in this field. So often, it all begins with those entry-level positions, like a rescue center assistant.
Okay, so that's where you're really getting your hands dirty. Right?
Yeah, exactly. You're learning the ropes, seeing firsthand what it takes to care for the animals day in and day out.
So we're talking like cleaning kennels, feeding, maybe even assisting on actual rescue missions.
You got it. It's all about building that foundational understanding of how a rescue center operates from the ground up.
Makes sense. You can't exactly lead a whole team if you've never, actually cared for the animals yourself.
Right. And as you gain experience, as you prove yourself, you can start taking on more responsibility, maybe moving into a role like, say, a rescue center coordinator or a supervisor.
So at that level, would you be overseeing volunteers, maybe managing schedules, things like that?
Exactly. Each step you take up that ladder presents new challenges, demands a broader set of skills.
It's like leveling up in a video game. You're mastering those new skills at each stage of the game.
That's a great way to put it. And speaking of skills, RoleCatcher mentioned something interesting about the importance of staying up to date in this field.
Oh, yeah, because it's not like you just learn it once and you're good to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Animal welfare is constantly evolving. There are new technologies, new best practices constantly emerging.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about all the advancements that have been made just in, like, veterinary medicine alone, even in just the last decade. It's incredible.
It really is. So even if you've been in the field for years, there's always something new to learn.
So how do you actually do that? How do you stay ahead of the curve?
Well, a lot of it comes down to, being proactive, reading industry publications, attending conferences, connecting with other professionals.
Oh, and probably earning certifications, right? I bet that's a big one.
Absolutely. That's a fantastic way to demonstrate your dedication and your expertise.
I wonder what those are like. Like, if you're a certified animal welfare administrator or a certified wildlife rehabilitator,
Mm.
those conferences must be
I
fascinating.
can only imagine. All those passionate people coming together to share their knowledge, learn about the latest breakthroughs in animal care. It must be incredible.
It sounds like it. But while all of that is super exciting, we also have to acknowledge that RoleCatcher doesn't shy away from the realities of the job, which can be, well, tough.
Yeah, they're very upfront about that, and rightfully so,
Yeah.
because as rewarding as it is, it's not all, sunshine and happy reunions.
Yeah. And it's got to be hard when you're dealing with these animals who've, often been through really difficult situations themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not always, the happy endings you hope for. Sometimes you have to say goodbye. Sometimes an animal doesn't make it.
Mm.
That's really tough.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Plus, it's not just the animals you're caring for, it's your team too, right?
That's right. You have to be a leader, someone they can come to, especially when they're dealing with those tough situations.
Because, I mean, let's be real, that kind of emotional weight, that takes a toll. RoleCatcher actually called out compassion fatigue as a serious concern in this line of work.
Yeah, and, they're right to highlight that. It's something that anyone going into this field needs to be aware of and be prepared to address, both for themselves and for their team,
Hmm.
making sure everyone has the support and resources they need to handle those emotions, to process what they're seeing and experiencing. That's crucial.
Definitely. You need to be able to care for yourself before you can truly care for others, right?
100%. And, another thing RoleCatcher mentioned that I thought was really interesting is that even finding those opportunities can be a challenge itself.
Oh, right. Because not every town has a big city shelter or a wildlife sanctuary.
Exactly. Job opportunities in this field, they can be limited depending on where you are in the world.
So it might take some extra effort, some extra searching to find that perfect role.
It might, but
Hmm.
even with all of those challenges, the pros that RoleCatcher highlighted, they're pretty darn compelling.
Okay, so hit me with those pros. What makes it all worth it?
Well, first and foremost, you're making a tangible difference. Like, you are directly impacting the lives of animals every single day. And you're working hands-on with those animals, which for animal lovers, that's a huge hook.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just a desk job. You're right there in the thick of it.
Exactly. And there's definitely potential for growth within the field, too. You can start as a rescue center assistant, and who knows, maybe someday you'll be running the whole show.
I love that. And, I'm not going to lie, the awe factor has got to be through the roof. I mean, come on. Cuddles with puppies, kittens, maybe even the occasional baby sloth.
Okay, maybe not the sloth, but you get the idea. There's a certain joy, certain magic that comes with working with animals.
It reminds me of that story RoleCatcher shared about the dog who had been rescued from that hoarding situation. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah, I do. Poor guy was terrified of people at first.
Yeah, but the rescue center manager, they worked with him every single day, patiently, consistently, and eventually he started to come around. Now he's like thriving in this loving home.
It's stories like that, those transformations, those happy endings, that make it all worthwhile. Despite the challenges, the heartbreaks, it's those moments of pure joy, of seeing an animal thrive, that really fuel your passion for this work.
Totally. And speaking of the future, it's exciting to think about how technology might continue to shape the world of animal rescue. I mean, RoleCatcher even touched on that, how it's making things safer and more efficient.
Oh, definitely. And I think we're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
Like, imagine if you could use data to anticipate natural disasters like wildfires and actually evacuate animals in advance. That would be incredible.
Right. Or what about using it to map migration routes that are being affected by climate change, or track outbreaks of diseases that affect animals? The possibilities are really endless.
And then there's virtual reality training for rescue workers. RoleCatcher mentioned that too, and it just seems like such a game changer. Like being able to simulate those high-pressure rescue scenarios in a safe environment. That could really help people prepare for those really intense real-life situations.
It would be invaluable. Building confidence, honing those critical decision-making skills all before they're actually needed in a real emergency. That's huge.
It really is. Wow, we've covered so much ground in this deep dive. From cleaning kennels to high-tech simulations, who knew the role of a rescue center manager was so multifaceted?
It really is. They wear so many hats, and they do it all with, such passion and dedication. They are truly the unsung heroes of animal welfare, leading with both their heads and their hearts.
Absolutely. And to anyone listening who might be drawn to this line of work, it's clear that it takes a special kind of person. It's not going to be easy, there will be challenges, but the impact you can have, it's immeasurable.
Truly, you'll be part of something so much bigger than yourself. You'll be changing the lives of animals and the people who love them. And at the end of the day, I can't think of anything more rewarding than that.
Perfectly said. And on that note, we leave you with this thought. If you were leading a rescue center, what would your top priority be? And why? Think about it. Until next time.